Hello everyone, I hope all of you are doing well. Today we are continuing the discussion on post-colonialism. So in the last couple of classes we have been discussing what post-colonialism is, what are the major concepts about post-colonialism are. Today I am going to give you a better perspective into how post-colonialism interacts with our cultural lives. For instance, the very significant aspect which comes in touch with colonialism and the post-colonial discourse is that of history. Now, history has a very significant role in our present existence. That is something that you need to understand. Most of the time we think of history as something that happened in the past, but history is something that defines our present also, because the kind of experiences that people have had, not just us but our ancestors, but our communities have had, actually influence the way in which we form our opinions and we form our judgments even in the present. So history is something that we cannot negotiate with as such, saying that it's just something that happened in the past, but history has a very strong agency in determining our present. So this is very true in the case of post-colonial discourses. That is why history is something that the colonial masters were trying to, in a way, reconfigure for their own benefit. That is, the native history, the native people who were conquered would have a basic understanding about their history and their cultural heritage. But when the colonial masters came to power, what they did was they were in a way mystifying that history and recreating that history from their own perspective, the colonial masters' perspective, which can actually be used as a tool for subjugation. Now, the way in which it is done is that it is the question of gaze. The way you look at things actually determines the way in which you understand things. That is, now if I look at somebody from thinking that I'm a superior person of superior intellectual capabilities and then look at that person and their activities, it is very obvious that I may find many ways in which I can justify my argument that I'm intellectually superior. Similarly, when the white, not just the white, any colonial master conquered native lands, they were looking at the natives as the other, who were culturally and socially inferior, and treating them thus. So their history seemed very insignificant to the colonial master. And later on, when the colonial masters were in charge of educational systems and all, this history was misrepresented for the natives by the colonial masters themselves. For example, now, India has a very strong history of international trade and many other things. But when the Britishers came to India and started recording the history of India, India was mostly represented as a very pagan land with very uncouth practices and very uncivilized practices. So this is not we cannot accept it as a very true representation as such, because the colonial masters' bias is very much present there. So mystifying history and in a way narrating history from their own perspective and popularizing that history was one strategy of the colonial masters. That is, when this history gets normalized, that is, the history that the Britisher wrote about India becomes normalized and becomes a part of a curriculum, the natives also start accepting the idea, not the fact, accepting the idea probably that this is our history, we are these kinds of people, and this is our position in the society, because your historical understanding actually plays a crucial role in your understanding of your positioning in the society. So history is something that the colonial masters meddled a lot with, and it is the same history that the natives were trying to reclaim when they started becoming aware of the interventions that have happened in history. That is, many of the natives were actually trying to rewrite their history, because the history that was available now, the history that was popular now, was actually a creation of the colonial master, and this creation was done for their own favor, to subjugate others rather than to actually represent their native history. So the judgments, the value judgments, the quality judgments, everything is there in that history from the perspective of the colonial master and never from the perspective of the native. So many native writers, they actually try to reclaim their cultural values, reclaim their history, say that this is not our history, but rather our history is different, because it's a way of reclaiming one's own identity also. History and identity are very closely linked. If I understand, if I place myself in a historical context, that is how I make in a lot of way make sense of myself. That is, I belong to a nation which struggled for freedom. that itself gives me a certain kind of identity, and I belong to a nation where these religions are there. That itself gives me a certain kind of identity. So history is closely related to your identity, and when the colonial master decides to twist and turn that history for their own benefit, and that history becomes normalized later on, there is a huge problem. So the people who post independence, the people who were aware of this fact, were actually trying to recreate history from the perspective of the natives, from the position of the natives. So history is a very crucial element in post-colonialism. So I'll conclude for today and continue the discussion in the next class. Thank you.